Right, the second part after this situation is the idea of null factor law. So I'm going to ask you some questions and you respond to me. If I do 2 times by 0, what's the answer going to be? 0. If I do 0 times by 5, what's the answer going to be? 0. If I do 0 times by 0, what's the answer going to be? 0. What do I prove here? If I multiply anything by 0, I get what? 0. This is a basic statement of the idea of the null factor law. In maths and in general, in physics, null means 0, the lack of existence of anything. The null factor law is this. If A times by B, if two things are multiplied, and I know the answer is 0, then, do you agree, based on this one, could A be 0? Could B be 0? Could both of them be 0? This allows us to solve some things. Null factor law is used when a quadratic equation is in factorized form. Did you just have a test about factorization?
Yeah.
There's a reason for that, because you need to be able to factorize quadratics. What is something that's been factorized? It's got the brackets back. Okay? So you tell me, why are you teaching me this rule? Why is it useful? Because it allows me to solve that. Because do I have something on the outside times by something in a set of brackets? And does it equal 0? The equation states that those two things times together equals 0. Based on the null factor law, could either of those things be equal to 0?
Yeah.
That's how you solve it. So, because this rule exists now, I can solve this. You can write 2x equals 0, because that's the first one. Or, what's the other thing that could equal 0? What's in the brackets? Or, x take 4 equals 0. And there's still more to do here, because I don't have x by itself. What's the opposite of taking 4 from something? Good. So x could be 4. Or here, what's 2 doing to x? So what's the opposite of timesing something by 2? If I divide a 0 by 2, what am I still going to have? X could also be 0. Null factor law. Do you agree that you factorized some stuff in the last test and made it look like this? I have something times by something else. Now if you've got this law that says if I'm timesing one thing by another and the answer is 0, the first thing could be 0, the second thing could be 0, therefore I've suddenly got multiple answers again. Can I give you a couple of, 30 seconds, can you get that example down, please? Huh? We're saying that it's both here to get those two possible solutions. One more, and then I'll shut my mouth. Is this null factor law? Am I timesing something by something else? And does it equal 0? I only see a few people nodding.
Yes.
You can write, if you want, that A is x times by 3, B is 2x take 5, and we've been told it equals 0. According to null factor law, they can both be 0. So, x plus 3 could be 0. And if I solve this, what's the opposite of adding 3 to something?
Taking it.
Good. So x could be negative 3, and that's possible. And then this one, or in capitals, 2x take 5 could be 0. There's a couple of steps to solve this. What's the opposite of taking 5 from something? Adding 5. So 2x is equal to positive 5. What's 2 doing to x? Right now? Multiplying. What's the opposite of timesing something by 2? Dividing. So if I divide both sides by 2, x is going to be 5 on 2. We've got two options again. And I don't know, hopefully, what do the kids say these days? Trust or truz or something? Hopefully you trust me that if I replaced x with 3 in here, I would get, you can see, if I put x is negative 3 into here, what's negative 3 plus 3? 0. And if I times 0 by anything, what's the answer going to be? 0. Does that confirm the first one? If I chuck 5 on 2 into here, let's do it. I'll show you, so you trust me. If I chuck 5 on 2 into this, what's 2 times by 5 on 2? That's going to be 5 on 2 times by 2 is going to be 10 on 2. What is 10 divided by 2? 5? And what's 5 take 5?
0.
And if I times anything by 0, what do I get?
0.
See? Can you get that down, please? Your homework will be, I think it's, for my guys, 10B, and you guys 13B.
How long
Try it.
have I left?